You didn't lose peace because people change. You lost your peace because you kept trying to control it. Let me tell y'all what I've learned. Welcome back to Perspectives Unfiltered, y'all. I am your host, LaShante. To my Perspectives Unfiltered circle, y'all, thank y'all so much for sticking it out with your girl, for being patient with me, and for tuning in with me for another week. If you are new here, baby, pull up a chair because you are now part of the family. You can't go nowhere now. You can't go nowhere. You stuck with me. Okay? Period. So y'all, I want to get into a little subject tonight, y'all. It's probably about, I don't know, probably 10:30, 11 at night. I'm tired. But it's okay because your girl gonna record this episode, go and get her some sleep, get her an Alani, and be at the gym at 4:30 because we got goals this year. Period. Okay, y'all. So today I want to talk a little bit about a book that I read last month in January. The book that I picked up in January was called The Let Them Theory. It is by Mel Robbins. And I want to talk to y'all about how it changed the way I see certain things, specifically friendships, control, and I'll say peace. Let's get into it a little bit. When I started reading this book, the part about friendships really made me sit back and think and reflect. And one of the biggest things I feel like she talked about was how friendships are formed. She basically broke friendship down into three pillars. She broke it down into proximity, timing, and energy. And when I read that part of the book, I kind of had to double back a couple times because I was reading the stuff she was saying and marking it in the book or whatever. And I realized that some of our connections that we thought were deep were just situational. Like for instance, the three pillars, she broke them down. The first pillar she broke down, I want to say, was proximity. So proximity is pretty simple. Proximity is when you become close to people just because y'all are around each other a lot. You're around them at work, you're around them at school, you're around them with your mutual friends, or y'all share the same social spaces. That doesn't always mean that there was some type of deep alignment with y'all. Sometimes it just end up happening because you were in the same place at the same time. And when I sat and I thought about proximity and the way that when I sat back and I reflected on proximity, I had to really and truly admit to myself that I've had lifelong connections with people that were true, really and truly just convenient connections. It was just convenient at the time because I was around these people. It was convenient at the time because we shared mutual spaces, but it wasn't actual real friendships, if that makes sense. So I think the next pillar was timing. Basically, what I got from that was that some friendships are basically built because you and someone else are in that same season. Y'all might both be single, or y'all both going through a breakup, or y'all both trying to find yourself. So you end up connecting because the timing actually lined up. But as we know, with weather, with people, seasons change. And when one person grows into a new season and that other person doesn't, I think it can feel like the friendship itself is breaking apart when really y'all season together has just shifted. And see, when your season changes, you realize that you were connected to who you were and not who you are. And I think that's something that we really have to think about and sit with because there's a lot of times that we are connected to people because of the certain season that we in, but not the season that we're walking into. So then the final what was it? The final one was energy. Energy was the final pillar. That one, I think I sat with that one the longest because I feel like energy is about how you feel when you are around somebody. Do you feel safe around that person? Do they give you safe energy? Do you feel like you can actually be your true authentic self, transparent self with this person or these people? Do you leave conversations where you talking to these people feeling uplifted, or do you just feel drained and heavy? And I really sat with energy for a few days, for real, because I started looking back over friendships in my own life. And I started realizing that some of these connections and so-called connections with these people that I had was really not deep soul ties at all. They were just situational ties. I was literally trauma bonding with people over pain, over people people that we had in common that we no longer were dealing with, and we were trauma bonding over that stuff. It wasn't a real authentic true bond. And when the pain healed or subsided in that season and that season changes, the connection felt different. And I used to think that that meant something was wrong, but now the older that I am and I know what it means to truly be a friend and how much friendship means to me and how I hold my friendships accountable, I see that there was literally nothing wrong at all. That season just ended, and that's okay. And I think some of the biggest problems that we see is that people end up staying in friendships out of things like history or loyalty, even when the energy that doesn't feel good anymore. You'll try to tell yourself, but we've been friends for years. Or that's my dog. Or I don't want to be a fake friend. Or we've been friends since the sandbox. We've been friends since middle school. But y'all have to realize, we have to remember that the little girl or the little boy that was on the playground in the sandbox with this person is not the grown 28, 29-year-old person that you are now. People change. People go through family trauma. People go through personal trauma. People deal with things in their life. People go through mental health issues. So, just like anything, just like regular seasons change, seasons change. Energy definitely matters though. Just because someone was right for you in one version of your life doesn't mean that they're right for the version of you that you're becoming right now. And that part right there should free you because, baby, it freed me. But the other side of that is it could be real uncomfortable. It can be really, really uncomfortable because once you sit and you see that, you just can't unsee it. Once you recognize the actual difference between alignment and attachment, you start really and truly noticing it everywhere with everybody, even with family, with friends, with people that you feel like, oh, well, I done created a really good connection or bond with this person, and then you start to notice the difference in that. And understanding that in your head is one thing, but actually having to live it out and stand your ground is a whole nother. Because once I personally really sat down and reflected on those three pillars, proximity, timing, and energy, it made sense in my head, but it don't make it no easier on your heart. Especially me, and I'm just speaking for me. I don't know about anybody else, but it don't make it easy on your heart. Letting people be who they are, it sounds real simple, but it's actually hard. It's hard because letting go doesn't always mean that you stop caring. It just means you finally stop carrying it. And for people like me who love hard, who show up hard, and are big on loyalty, that feels real unnatural and foreign to us because I love my folks. I love my people. It's hard because a lot of us don't just love our friends. I think we feel somewhat responsible for them. We feel connected to what they do and how they move and how things turn out for them. We be worried about our friends. So when someone starts moving differently or the energy shifts or the connection doesn't feel the same, our first instinct isn't to let them fix it. We do not let them fix it. At least for me, because I am a fixer. I will overthink. I will replay conversations in my head over and over again. If I'm the type of person, if I've called you and I know by now you would have called me back, I'm the type of person that, mind you, your girl got 4 kids. Life be lifing over here. I have a lot going on. So I'll be wondering, like, did I do something wrong? Or dang, let me look at my calendar. Let me look on her Facebook. Was it something that I told her I was gonna show up for and I didn't? Did I not show up enough? And instead of me giving people space sometimes, I've learned that I try to hold on tighter to them. But and I'm not trying to, and this is just me. I'm just speaking on me. I don't know what nobody else's perspective is. This is just my perspective. I'm not trying to control them in any way. I'm not trying to control them, and I'm not trying to control how they see me. I just want to make sure that we always have an understanding. I want to make sure that they understand my intentions. I want to make sure that I am still seen as a good friend, loyal, and someone who cares for my friends. But in doing all of that, sometimes, and this is just me speaking for me, I think I've end up over exhausting myself because now I be trying to carry their perception, and I be trying to carry their feelings and their assumptions and their decisions, all while trying to manage my own. And trying to manage their stuff was nothing that was never fully in my control to begin with. And when I sit back and I think about it too, I think another reason it's hard for me to let them is because sometimes I remember where I've come from. in where I used to be. Mind you, I was a teen mom. I had my first child when I was 17. So I remember stuff like that. I know what it is to have baby daddies with other baby mamas. You know what I'm saying? Not having my own family and raising my kids, and my kids are coming from broken homes. And I remember the mistakes that I've made and the detours and the losses that I done took and the lessons that I had to learn the hard way. And when you've already lived through something like that, me personally, you don't want to see the people that you love to go through that same pain, because you know what it feel like. You don't want them to struggle the way that you struggled. You don't want your people to waste time the way you feel like, dang, I wasted all this time. And we want to prevent me. I want to prevent my friends from making those same mistakes that I made. I want to warn them. I want to save them. Like I'll be like, damn, bitch, like I'm trying to save you. You seen what I went through. You seen the tears that I cried. You seen all the stuff that I go through. I'm trying to save you. I'm trying to guide you. And most of the time, it is not coming from a bad place at all. It's coming from love. I'm not hating on nothing you got going on with old boy. I'm not hating. It's just that I can see the red flags because I've lived it. And it's coming from experience. It's coming from that, it be coming from that space of, I wish somebody would have told me. I wish somebody would have told me. That's the space to be coming from for me. If somebody would have told me this 10 years ago, I probably wouldn't have did it. But at the same time, what they say, experience is sometimes the best teacher. You have to experience some things. So just because you yourself or me, just because I've learned the lesson the hard way, doesn't mean that they are going to learn it through my words. Sometimes people literally have to live it for themselves. And am having to remind myself that I am not responsible for everybody's journey. I am not called to rescue everybody. And loving somebody doesn't mean controlling the path that they choose. Sometimes loving them simply means letting them walk in it. I have to let you walk in it, even when I already know where it's gonna lead to. But I'm gonna let you walk in it. But as you walking through that fire, baby, I'm gonna be on the other side with water to put it out on your feet. I'm gonna be there on the other side of that. And I think that's just a hard thing, and I think that's something that I'm still actively trying to work over. Because sometimes my friends be calling me, and I just be thinking to myself, and it's still stuff that I be dealing with on my own stuff, and I be like, I be in the house like, LaShawnte, you ain't got no nerve. You ain't got no nerve to be trying to check your friend about some stuff, and you still lollygagging and doing bull yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think too, nobody talks about, this is another thing too that I kind of was getting. I was, and this kind of, she talked about this in the book, but this was something else that I wanted to speak on. So I want to speak on it before I forget, y'all. My mind all over the place. It's late, but hear me out. I don't think they talk enough about, or people talk enough about, or let me say this. I think people are so prideful these days that they don't want to talk about the fact that you have friends and you've introduced them and they formed a friendship around you. So you start seeing them hang out together and you won't invite it. You seeing connections grow that don't include you. And instead of just letting it be what it is, we start to spiral. You start wondering what changed, what you did, and that part can really mess with your head, because it's not even about always wanting to be there. Sometimes it's just about wanting to feel considered, wanting to feel wanted and remembered. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you like been going through some things and then you see your people leaking up and you like, damn, they ain't called me. You know what I'm saying? I really could have used a drink, a laugh, whatever. And you start to see those friendships forming around you. I think it can really mess with your head. But people are so prideful. They make it seem like it don't bother them when they really do. And when you don't, I just feel like when you don't let your mind rest and literally what she said in the book, which was let them, your mind was try to start filling those gaps that you don't even have the answers for. You would start replaying conversations and start to question your place in these people's lives. And whole time, maybe, just maybe, they just linked up because of proximity. Maybe they linked up because of the timing or the energy. Maybe they share something in common that you don't. And that does not mean that you are being replaced. It just means different connections serve different seasons. And that's okay. And that's okay. So that's when you have to ask yourself. You have to ask yourself something different. Instead of asking, why are they doing that without me? You have to shift your perspective and ask yourself, why do I feel the need to try to control that? Because trying to control it is too heavy. Trying to keep up with who's doing what and trying to make sure that nobody is misunderstanding you, or trying to stay connected to people who are already moving in a different direction, that is too exhausting. And you don't realize how tired you are until you start questioning why you even still carrying that. And then I feel like you'll fully understand that peace doesn't come from everybody understanding you. Peace really and truly comes from being okay, even when they don't understand you. And that realization alone has made me way more intentional in this year about what I'm going to be doing, what I'm going to be filling my mind with, the type of people that I'm going to associate myself around. I am being very intentional about the things that I do this year. I am being very intentional with the way that I speak to people, the way that I move, the way I see my folks. I'm being very intentional about being quiet, letting my people talk and say what they got to say, and I'm not saying anything. I'm being intentional about that. And that is basically why another reason why I created my reset journal, y'all. I don't know if y'all know, but I recreated a reset journal this year, and that's one of the reasons why I created it in the first place. I didn't create it because I had it all figured out. I created it because I needed something for myself. I created it because I needed it. I created because I needed something to slow me down, to reflect in, and to actually process everything that I've been feeling instead of just trying to push through it. And that's all that my reset journal is really about intention. It's about asking yourself the hard questions. Like what are you holding on to that you need to be letting go of? You've been holding on to this for 4 5 years. You know it don't serve you no good. You need to let it go. It's about me being honest with where I really am so I can move forward with clarity and momentum. That's what it's about. So if you are in that season where things are shifting and your friendships feel different, or you're learning how to release control, that journal was made for moments just like that. I will put the link in the description box below if you want to check out the journal, y'all. And so, like I said at the beginning, y'all, earlier, I picked up the Let Them journal in January. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. I picked this one up. My one of my goals for the new year this year was to read at least one self-help book a month. So January's book was The Let Them Theory, and clearly, y'all, it was a great one. It was a good book. It helped me see friendships and relationships in a whole new light. It helped me differently. It helped me to see control differently, and it helped me to realize that a lot of the peace that I was praying for was connected to what I needed to really and truly release. I got it from Amazon, and I will link it in the description box below. But more than that, too, y'all, if anything, I think the Let Them theory gave me language for things that I was already feeling, but I just didn't know how to put in words myself. And it's the bomb. Y'all should really go check it out, really and truly read it. I think y'all would really, really enjoy it. And so, like I said, y'all, I'm trying to be very, very intentional about what I feed my mind with and what I'm reading, y'all. And for February, now that we are in February, I am reading this book called The Untethered Soul. It's by Michael A. Singer. So far, so good. I'm not gonna lie to y'all though, it's kind of deep. I had to reread the first 4 chapters probably twice because it was a little too deep for me. It was a little too, but now I'm catching on. I'm the type of person, if I don't understand something, baby, I'm gonna Google, I'm gonna research, I'm gonna figure out what's going on. This book is really about like deep self consciousness so far. I'm only on like chapter 7 or 8. So far, so good. And I'm really excited to finish this book because I really feel like this year for me is about doing the actual inner work. Not just looking healed or sounding wise, but actually sitting down and doing the hard work in private. Because I feel like it's so easy. We can get on here all day. The internet is full of people who have all kind of fake lives and fake narratives. So it's easy to get on here and post quotes, and it's easy to say that you're growing, and it's easy to act like that you're different, and you actually change in how you think and how you respond and how you moving. So I really want to encourage y'all to pick up a book this year. Pick up a book. It does not have to be the same ones that I'm reading. Just do something that feeds your mind and helps you grow into your purpose. Because growth, y'all, does not happen by accident. You have to be intentional about who you are becoming. Yes, y'all. So if you're in that season right now, y'all, where you feel like you just feeling disconnected or misunderstood, or like your friendships are shifting, you might be feel like you're losing people. You might just feel like you need to gain some type of clarity and step into alignment. And that's cool. And sometimes alignment is gonna feel lonely. It's gonna feel lonely before it gets peaceful, but that does not mean that you're going backwards. It just means that you are finally moving in the right direction. But that's just my perspective, y'all. Unfiltered, baby. So thank y'all so much tonight for tuning in with your girl, y'all. My alarm going off in the back because it's time to go to bed. If this episode resonated with you in any type of way, you know somebody who needs to hear it, go ahead and share the link with them. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that you don't miss the next episode, y'all. Thank y'all so much again for rocking with me, y'all. Until next time, stay real, keep healing, and keep your perspective unfiltered. Peace.